Welcome back. Our guest, Professor Ralph Akinfeleye, is still here. Sorry, I want to pronounce that correctly.
Akinfeleye.
Akinfeleye.
That's right.
Is the way it is properly pronounced.
That is correct.
Akinfi.
Akinfeleye.
Okay, Akinfeleye.
Yes, we'll make it dialectic.
I got it. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Chair, Center of Excellence in Media and Cinematography, Radio Unilag 103.1 FM, University of Lagos. And the Prof has been, he's been quite severe. That's what he does. He teaches. He teaches this stuff to students. He must have generations of editors under his belt now. But you've indicated that you are not entirely happy with the way we are practicing, that is, in the country. You would have thought, you would have wanted it to be lean a bit more to the ethical side of town than we have. And you've also commented on what the challenge of media owners. You said it's an incongruity for politicians and journalists to be friends, to be close friends, to be very close friends. But you see this often. You see close friendship between journalists and politicians. In fact, you see journalists, move entirely into the other side, even though they still profess that, look, first and foremost, I'm a journalist, but you see them move entirely. What happens when a journalist, for example, becomes a political aide, assistant, commissioner, legislator,
or even governor?
Yes. What's the scenario there?
He must keep strictly to his professional, at his own loan to government to go and be either government or governor or commissioner or. He should not sell his conscience.
Okay.
You understand? I think that was the governor, their good brother, Segun Oshoba. When he was governor, he claimed that every time we say, I'm a reporter, I'm a reporter. He said he was on loan, on sabbatical from the newsroom. So if you look at that kind of persons, others who are given that privilege to go and serve government should know that they are on loan. They are on sabbatical from the newsroom to the boardroom. They are on loan from the newsroom to State House and the like. So
all their professional instincts are supposed to still remain sharp.
Yes.
They might not be able to deploy them as they would have when they were working journalists, but they still have to remain sharp, and he has to use those guidelines to conduct himself in his new function.
A soldier is a soldier any day.
Whether
retired or not retired.
Whether in a boardroom or not.
Exactly. A soldier is a soldier. The thing is right in the blood. A journalist will be a journalist of conscience every time, every hour, on the hour.
Okay. Festus has called in from Akute. He wants to join this conversation. Let's hear it from Festus. Good morning, Festus.
Good morning, Yola. I want to thank you for the program. It's very interesting this morning that you brought in the prof. He has said many things that is very wrong about journalism in Nigeria. I wanted him to talk about the brown envelope syndrome in journalism in Nigeria, which is very rampant these days.
Doesn't that come under the category of cocktail journalism?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Because these days, you see the chief press secretary to governors, they call for conferences, and what we see, brown envelopes are shared, and the journalists go back home, write whatever he has been told to write. In these days in Nigeria, there's nothing like journalism. We don't practice journalism. There's no investigation. There's nothing. There's no utter of truth on what we feed our viewers with.
Okay.
It's very bad.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Festus. Festus wanted you to comment on the journalists taking bribes, and it is dodged under the brown envelope syndrome.
Thank you, Mr. Festus. The issue of brown envelope or white envelope or any envelope whatsoever which is given to a journalist, it is unethical to ask for or receive any gratification which we call brown envelope or white envelope or any envelope whatsoever. Both the giver and the receiver are also guilty. So it's unethical, it's not part of the profession for you as a journalist to go out on an assignment and be asking for a gratification. You have lost your conscience. You have lost your respect. And therefore, the media owners should be in the position to be able to pay for their staff so that they don't go and be asking for brown envelope. Mr. Festus, if you take the Daily Trust and also Punch, they have stated it that no reporter must ask for or demand for any gratification. If you see any, call them, they have the numbers there. So, Mr. Festus, if you encounter any journalist demanding any envelope from you, please call those numbers in the Daily Trust or Punch and others. It's unethical to get gratification because you are three trustees of the public trust.
Okay.
And acceptance of that one is a betrayal to that trustship.
Of that very trust.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Musa Bello calls in from Shasha. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning, sir. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy the professor is there, and I want to challenge you, sir. Since you have an array of experts, I want you to take the economic and social aspects of Nigeria. Take, for instance, DPE. Take, for instance, other organizations there. I don't want to mention them more, but I take DPE as an example. It's a government agency that has caused so many problems in this country, and nobody is talking about it. Do some investigative journalism. I want to challenge you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Number two, on the economic aspect, sir, there are so many companies that if, as they are now, as their present status, if they are put into use, this unemployment issue we are talking about, it will drain the whole thing. It will go. Number one, Ajakuta. Number two, Alscott. Number three, Oshobo Machine Tools. Wopin, Koiboku. These industries alone, as they are, if they are made to work as they are now, I assure you that more than 1 million jobs will be absorbed. Now, do some investigation as a personal or as your duty. Bring in experts, analyze these things, go there yourself, do some investigations, or send your men to go there and do it, and then we'll say, I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Musa Bello. He's the second guy that actually has touched on the topic of investigative journalism.
Yes.
It will be interesting for me to hear from you what your recommendations are in this all-important aspect of journalism. You've talked about the role, the duty, and the moral duty, professional duty, and I don't know, I suppose the most famous example of investigative journalism must have been the Watergate investigation that actually led to the removal of the President of the United States of America. I don't know if any other, well, there are quite a number of them, but that was one of the loudest. To what extent, why are there problems here conducting investigative journalism?
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Musa Bello. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi barakatuh.
I answer on his behalf.
Thank you very much. Now, you are talking about investigative journalism. Investigative journalism is one aspect, specialized aspect of journalism, and we teach it in the Gale School. That's number one. But you must understand that one, investigative journalism is very expensive. Two, it is time consuming. Three, it's a high risk. Adventure. Okay. And people go there with clear mind. But if you're able to do it and be able to pay for it, there's no problem. But investigative journalism, it is achievable if you have the support of your employer, you have the support of your professional association. You should be able to do the job very well. Okay. But even though it's dangerous and even though it's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive, it's dangerous, it's high risk. But it is type of thing we've been looking for. In an attempt to investigate, you can come out with a scoop. Yes. But in trying to get a scoop, many of us, of our colleagues and our reporters, in an attempt to get a scoop, they are out-scooped from the scoop. It then follows that it's an adventure, which is good, but if it's not properly done, it will turn to a misadventure, which may be counterproductive. And that's why people are very, very, very careful in pursuing investigative journalism. Then let me answer what Bello talks about economic.
Before you go there, sir,
yes.
I wonder if you can recall, as a teacher of journalism, and if you can recall any investigative journalism instance, you know, from when you were working to when you become an academic, if indeed there are actual instances.
There are so many, even in recent times. I think Channel Television did this police something.
When it went to the police,
police college.
Police college.
And as a result of that, the government did good job, and at least they benefited from. And there are some other instances.
What channels did, sir, as I recall, is that they simply followed somebody there,
yes.
and that is where the condition
yes.
of the place was seen,
yes.
and that is how it became.
Yes. And there were casualties because they
yes.
denied it. Instead of
yes.
them to listen to that, the condition in the police is not, the police barracks not
okay.
good,
okay.
and therefore people they are exposed to
okay.
corruption.
Okay, let me interrupt you briefly, sir. You please hold the thought that you have, so that I come back to you. It's because it's a phone-in program.
Oh, okay.
So the rest that you wanted to say, you can add it when I've taken Mr. Ogaba's call, calling in from Otokpo, Benue State. Good morning, Ogaba. I left it too late. Sorry, Mr. Ogaba from Otokpo, Benue State. Sorry, if you can get back in, I'll come back to you immediately. Yes. So.
Yes, the second part of Musa's question is that of economic and all that. How do we not report? I just want you to understand, sir. Journalists are not per se change agent. They are supposed to provide the raw material for change. They are supposed to supply information for the change agent, for the change agent, so that they can change. And change can only come about when the change agent, the government, the politicians are ready for the change. So the journalist is supposed to provide information and guideline and give them directions on what is going wrong with our economy, the Oshogbo, the steel mill and all that. They have written so many issues and articles on this industry, my dear brother. But it appears the previous government have been very, very, very uncooperative. In fact, they were deaf. And therefore, it is important for the journalists now, Mr. Musa, for us to now be part of the new change in terms of what we do, so that the change agenda will metamorphose in journalists writing more about things that can add value to quality of life in this country.
Maybe we'll come back to investigative journalism, especially you said it's expensive. We have media owners not being able to always pay salaries to now have a budget for that. But let me quickly take David, who is calling in from Ajao Estate. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Good morning, Dave.
You can't hear us, Dave. Good morning. Please go ahead. Dave, we can hear you. Dave, speak. There was something wrong with that line because he couldn't hear us even though we could hear him. In investigative journalism, it's the real source of journalism, isn't it? That's when you get a good one, you get a good one, and in lieu of that, a scoop. But the investigative piece, well, that is a problem. The danger part is there. Perhaps some people have even run foul of it.
Yes.
Look at the Daily Giwa story, for instance. That story has been working for how long now? I don't believe they've got to the bottom of it yet. Well, why do you think investigative journalism couldn't work then?
Investigative journalism is an idea. I think, in fact, in the newsroom, we encourage staff.
Let me quickly bring in George, so I don't lose George again.
Okay,
George calling in from Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for bringing in this topic this morning. I've been looking forward to it. Yeah, Uncle Yori, the corruption that has engulfed Nigeria did not spare journalism. We saw what happened in the build-up to the last general election. You could see that some analysts were being paid by politicians and for air days in TV and radio stations to come and speak for them.
Yeah, but the prof has said that columnists or analysts are not necessarily journalists.
Yes, right.
Well, when you are involved in
By
journalism, you are in one way or the other a journalist.
No.
That's the way I can look at it, but that is another topic.
Okay.
What I am saying, Uncle Yori, is that I have been waiting for the minister, whoever would be the minister in charge of information and communication, to come on board. And I have said I will appeal to you to bring him to the hot seat. Let us talk to him. There has to be a change in regulation. TVC, Radio Continental, is the only they are the only stations I know in this country that are conversational. Let it be a law that if you have to bring analysts to a studio for a national topic, the people should participate. Not that you just come and tell us whatever you want and there will be no reaction. Mm-hmm. You beat people out of it. Even if they send you a tweet, it is the one you want to read that you will read. Let it be, there should be voice calls to every discussion program. When that time comes, Uncle Yori, I'm going to remind you, when they appoint the Minister of Information, we are going to shout to the rooftops until a law is made to this regard.
Indeed. And thank you very much. You can be sure, George, that as soon as we know the Minister of Information, we're going to try everything to get him here. Which, by the way, as you know, Facebook, where we started from, is busy speculating on who is where.
Exactly.
So that's the word, speculating. Yes. Newspapers do it sometimes too.
Yes.
But go on, Prof.
Well, George, I want to thank you for your intervention. And first of all, I want to make a small correction. It's good for us to call a spade, and not to say a spade is an agricultural implement. The columnists, analysts are not by any means journalists, except they are trained, and they have gone to either formal or
that's
on
something
the job,
you want to make clear.
Yes, on the job training. Mm-hmm. So,
but look at me, Prof.
If columnists are paid, it is not journalists. But if they are journalists and they are paid, then they are contravening the ethical guidelines. So it is important for us to try to separate Genesis from Exodus. They may be too close, but it is necessary for us to know that the columnists or the analysts are not, if they are not trained, are not journalists, and therefore should be seen as such.
So you sorted that out.
The second point is
you will continue with the second point. Let me not lose this guy from Kano. Yes, somebody, Yakubu is calling in from Kano, and we'll come back to you. Good morning, Mr. Yakubu.
Good morning, Mr. Yakubu. Good morning, how are you?
Very well. Please go ahead. I won't interrupt because of the feedback. And please don't listen to yourself. Just go ahead.
Please go ahead. Because of feedback.
Okay.
Don't listen to yourself. Just go ahead.
Okay. I think that talking about the journalism.
It's not clear.
Yakub, I'm sorry, that particular line, I don't know what network you were on, but it doesn't really matter. All of them are bad. It happened. See if you can try again, Yakub, and maybe it'll be clearer. But Yakub, say yes. Now, you before we had to go to Yakub, all this flitting here and there, sometimes it breaks your train of thought. You remember what the point you wanted to make before I had to interrupt you?
Yeah, we are talking about investigative journalism.
Okay.
That we still practice it, and in fact, we encourage our reporters to invest in investigative reporting, because investigative reporting.
Is it the reporters that will invest in it?
Yes,
or the house, the media house.
Yeah, the media house will invest in it, and because by doing investigative reporting, you can capture the most prestigious journalistic award.
Yes.
That is the Pulitzer Prize.
Indeed.
Which is equivalent to that Nobel Prize in literature.
Yeah, but
so a lot of people try to investigate, but it's very expensive, time-consuming, and also high risk.
Because working on an investigative story could easily take you weeks, months, if not years. Before you can come out with anything.
That's right.
And in this fast-paced scenario where editors want to publish tomorrow, perhaps you won't be too surprised if you find that very few media houses, if any at all, have a budget for that which you've just referred to as investigative journalism.
It'd be nice for the owners of the media houses to invest, to have a budget for investigative journalism, because you use money to look for money. If you want to get, you see CBS, when they came to Nigeria, there was a story they did Corruption Incorporated. And they came to Nigeria and took so many shots in the airport, everywhere, and they then placed it on 60 minutes. It cost money. They flew to Nigeria, they paid for accommodation, they paid for transportation, and that is what I'm saying. It's very expensive. The media houses, the media owners should try to invest on that kind of aspect of journalism.
Okay. Paul, thank you for calling in, Paul.
Yeah, good morning, Sam.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
And good morning to Prof.
Okay.
Thank you.
What happened in Nigerian journalists and practice is that I think there's a compromise from the federal government to the journalists because, like the case of Village that you talk about, we all know, according to what I read about it, there's a compromise. And lately we're hearing that the case file is lost or is missing. Because sometimes, no journalists, they are all human beings. They are all human beings. They don't want to put their life on the line because if they should lose their life in the process, nobody will cater for their family. If you look at the build-up to the election, you know what some TV station did. One particular TV station, you see the hate campaign. Afterward, what happened? What penalty did they pay? Nothing. And when there is no punishment for a particular action, people are going to commit the same thing over and over again.
Okay, thank you very much. I've got to interrupt you there because we've just about completely run out of time. Can you believe it, Prof? So, in summary now, would you allow that as well as we're doing, there's still a long way to go, or we're not even doing well at all?
We are doing well, but not in the depth that we want to say so. And let me just ask Paul, there was penalty imposed on those journalists during the campaign. The Nigerian National Broadcasting Commission fined some stations. As I said, the fine was so small compared with the money they got from the mishap. So it is important for us, maybe the NBC, to raise the fine, because if I'm getting hate messages for 5 million and you are fining me 1 million, if I do that program 5 times, that's 25 million. And I can afford to pay 5 million.
5 million.
Yes.
Okay.
And continue to do the same thing.
Well,
so we are doing fine, but it is now for the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Nigerian Guild of Editors, to map out a new agenda and try to become part of the change phenomena.
Okay.
Therefore, there has to be institutional change. There has to be more of investigative journalism. There must be investment in human capital. And media owners also must understand that they have to be compatible and separate news and professional from day-to-day interference with the editorial policy.
Thank you very
because
much,
journalists are going to be there.
Yes.
And they will communicate.
Well, Prof, I could go on like this for the next 2 hours, but we've run out of time. I want to thank you very much for your insights. Professor Ralph Akinfele, I tried a bit.
That's correct. That's
Akinfele, he's chair, Center for Excellence in Multimedia and Cinematography, Radio Unilag 103.1 FM. I want to thank you for your insights and also your teachings here.
Thank you very
and also
much.
helping us to sort of set where journalism should be so we can see how much more we still have to do, even though there are all the pitfalls. Tomorrow is another day. I'll see you then, God willing. Bye-bye for now.